Good morning, everyone. My name is Graham and I'm the land steward at Goose Pond Sanctuary. And today, originally, I was going to bring you a video about tagging monarchs, the tagging procedure of actually putting them on the wings, finding them, and data collection and such like that. But as you can see, it's overcast today, it's a little breezy and cool, and actually it was raining a little bit before, and that makes these monarchs real inactive. We've had a few hundred in the roost trees, in those spruce trees over there over the last couple days, but those numbers have declined a lot just as of yesterday. This doesn't mean the migration is over, it just means that a patch of bad weather has sort of made a gap in the migration. So we expect to see more monarchs soon. But on a related note, as a lot of people know, milkweeds are the host plants for monarch caterpillars, so only in their larval stage do the caterpillars eat them. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about finding milkweeds and cleaning them. So they're really common, as the name suggests, common milkweed indeed. They like to grow up in weedy areas, and they have real large conspicuous pods that are easy to find. Plants this time of year tend to be yellowing up a little bit, like these leaves, and then you can see how yellow some of those ones are out there too. So visually they're pretty easy to detect, and they're really easy to identify. One other thing about milkweeds before I pick them is that they're clone formers, which means that one plant may contain a dozen or 100 stems, or so a lot of stems per plant. So this milkweed stem right here is probably attached to this one underground and is actually the same plant. And you can see that it's sort of in a cluster here. And so they spread underground like that. So it's probably a single plant. So if you get one seed to go, you could potentially have a lot of milkweed stems. Okay. So I'm just it's really easy to pick these. All you do is take them in your hand and you just pull on them. They should come right off the plant just like that. This is our monarch tagging station in the upper barn. I'm going to schedule a similar video like this for Thursday though, which is supposed to be sunnier. So hopefully we'll get you some monarchs during that. Okay, so you've got your stack of milkweeds. After you've picked them, like I said before, pretty easy to find and collect. So a good way to tell that they're ripe, number one, is that the plant is yellowing, the leaves are senescing. And number two, a good indicator is that the plant itself really has very few leaves left on it. Number three is that some of these pods will probably be splitting open, and once they start to split open, they're basically good to go. But so I'm gonna take one of these, and there's a pretty distinct rib that goes right down the middle. And if you just put your thumbs on either side of that rib and split it open, then you'll find the seeds and also the fluff all contained inside. Now this one, didn't really expect this, is not particularly ready. You can see it's really white, and the seeds really should be like a brown or tan. Let's see if I can find a different one for you. Yes, better example. So I did the same thing here, just split it right down the vein, and then the whole thing will be attached sort of at the top. So I'm just going to use 2 fingers here and pull it out. And so now I have most of the seeds. And then it's really easy. You can just put your hand on the seeds and pull on the end of the fluff. And most of the seeds should come out fairly clean for you. And then here's the fluff. You can see there's still a couple attached there, but more or less this one is clean. So if you're gonna do it by hand, it's probably best to do it before they explode, because once they've exploded, then the fluff is a lot harder to grab onto. It's not centralized in one pod. So I'll just do that one more time if we can find another ripe one. Not this one. Also greenish. They really look like fish scales or maybe feathers or something like that. This one's good. I'm splitting this one. It hasn't split open by itself because it was dry yet, and then I can just grab the whole thing and just take these guys off. And like if there's some fluff in there, if there's some extra chaff or fluff, that doesn't really matter. As clean as the seeds can get, the better. But if the seeds are in there, that is definitely the important part. So this one that I'm looking at right now is common milkweed, but there's a lot of different types of milkweed. Swamp milkweed right now is starting to ripen, and again, you can tell because there's not leaves on it, or maybe the pods have busted open. And there's also butterfly weed. Those are probably the three most common. Monarchs will use all of them, any type of milkweed they will use. So if you guys have any questions about cleaning milkweed seeds, feel free to leave that question in the comment box and we'll try to get to you as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I do have one other thing to show you. And that's some other seeds that we've gotten so far this year. So this seed I've got here is Canada tick trefoil. This is one where if you're walking around in the prairie, these little seeds might get stuck to your clothes. They're pretty sticky. But then after you clean them, we run them through our seed machines here. The seeds themselves that are inside of those sticky little packets come out really clean. So this stuff is has almost no shells on it, and it's not going to stick to you. This one, white prairie clover. Got a good amount of that stuff this year. There's also purple prairie clover that we are in the process of collecting right now. And then there's this one. This is one of my very favorite seeds. It's prairie potentilla. And this is what the seed head looked like when we were collecting it. We had some volunteers helping us collect the potentilla, so thank you to everyone who showed up for that. But this is what it looks like when you collect it. And then if I turn it upside down and just kind of give it a little squishing, then those seeds just come right out the bottom. And you can see they're very tiny. Tiny and copper colored. And this one also comes out really clean after you've cleaned it. This is actually just from what was left in the bottom of the tray. We haven't even cleaned this stuff yet, but it looks really good as it is. So milkweed season is definitely soon. I mean, judging by the pods that I just was cracking open right now, perhaps I would wait maybe a week, but it really depends on your location and the patch that you're working off of. So, and then you will probably be able to collect those for a few weeks until they've all split open and scattered everywhere. So for the next video, I'm thinking Thursday, probably again at 11 o'clock, we'll be talking about about tagging monarchs if the weather sticks with us. So stay tuned for that and keep an eye out on those milkweeds. Feel free to collect those and clean them. And then in the comment box, we will give you a place, we'll give you some more information on where you can send that stuff or perhaps also how to plant it yourself. Again, any questions? Put those in the comment box. And thanks for listening.